AI chip king as low as $176. But right now, the stock is creeping its way back, and a few minutes ago actually came within striking distance of turning positive. Right now, it's down about 0.75% to $180. This after the company posted a beat on both the top and bottom line, missed slightly on key data center revenue. That number came in at $41.1 billion, just short of the $41.3 billion estimate. But that is still...
I'm not going to talk about the stock because we talked about this in Stock Club. So if y'all are part of the Patreon, go back and watch part 1 and part 2 of the last live streams that we did last week. We did them both last week. And then we got Block Club coming up on Wednesday. So that's going to be absolutely fun. I'm recording some content that I'll be able to show y'all the updates or the latest builds and what I bought and why I bought them and what the strategies is and how y'all can make money, for real, make money in real estate, not do the same stuff that they've been trying to teach y'all. You know, DJ Envy and Caesar hacking, NJ, none of that other bullshit. We're going to talk about AI right now.
A staggering year-over-year surge of 56%. Overall revenue in Q2 came in at a record $46.7 billion. That is also up 56% from a year ago. Q3 revenue guidance coming in at 56% at a record $46.7 billion. That is also up 56% from...
Oh my God. I'm not going to say nothing. Let's continue.
A year ago. Q3 revenue guidance coming in at $54 billion. Keep in mind that outlook includes zero sales to China of Nvidia's H20 chips. Nvidia's founder and CEO Jensen Huang is kind of in the hot seat, balancing the need.
They is printing money over there at Nvidia, and they are printing money, literally printing money over there.
Of shareholders with the desire of the Trump administration to control chip exports to China and make money off Nvidia's sales.
You know, I hate when people say stuff like this. Dude, that's free info. Don't need to join a paid group to learn fundamental analysis. That's not what we talk about inside a Stock Club. Is fundamental analysis. It's not just, don't worry about it. You wouldn't know unless you was actually there. But it's okay. It's okay. Let's continue.
The leader of America's first $4 trillion company is ready to talk about it. Jensen, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Liz. Great to see you.
Good to see you, too. Listen, at $46.7 billion, you broke your sales record, and you expect to do it again, right, in the third quarter? Your sales guidance, $54 billion, is above Wall Street estimates. I need to know right off the bat, what customer demand are you seeing right now that gives you that confidence?
We are at the beginning of the AI revolution.
Look at this. Somebody says something about him looking gay. What did it says? He's not my second. This guy, John Keating, of course, it's always going to be somebody with no profile picture, says, this guy looks gay. Talking about the Nvidia CEO. Bro, what the fuck is you talking about? We talking about money, man. We're talking about AI. We're talking about the future of investing. We're talking about how your jobs is going to be impacted. You focus on whether or not he gay. What are we talking about? Like this, listen, when we start talking about the money and we start breaking down stuff and we start getting into certain things, we got to start, like, you got to separate the funny stuff, and it's a time to play, it's a time for entertainment, and it's a time to have serious conversation. You start talking about money, you got to start having serious conversation.
In the last year, extraordinary progress was made in AI. AI can now reason, basically think, do research, use tools, solve problems. That's the reason why ChatGPT has become so good, because you ask it a question and it goes off and thinks about it, does research, does things for you. It's incredible. And so we're seeing AI going into every industry, from, of course, the clouds, the enterprises, industrial with robotics and automation, and, of course, self-driving cars. Just everywhere we're seeing AI adoption really, really growing fast. Now, at the core of our business, we launched the second generation of the revolutionary Blackwell architecture. It's the first of its kind type of AI supercomputer. This is the second generation of Blackwell. We call Blackwell Ultra. The code name is GB300. Everybody calls it that. And we ramped $10 billion worth of GB300 in the first quarter. And next quarter we're going to ramp really, really hard. So we've got a lot of build out to go.
Yeah, it sounds like the fire is really hot. I mean, your second quarter earnings though did show, and everybody's talking about this, so we got to bring it up. 0 H20 chip sales to China, even though earlier this month President Trump reversed that ban on those sales in exchange for a 15% cut of your China revenues. And then the forecast for this quarter assumes again 0 H20 chip sales to China. Are you guys just being conservative, or have you seen orders from China come to a halt?
We haven't seen orders yet, but we're hoping for orders. H20 is really a fantastic product still. The price performance, its cost efficiency, and its ability to generate AI tokens is really terrific.
I think that he is anticipating sales, but usually what these companies do is they try to project conservatively so that they'll always have a market beat. If they actually reveal their hand and say, okay, well, no, we actually are anticipating sales to China, which would actually blow it out the water, analysts would then raise their expectations and you wouldn't see as much of an explosion in the stock price. But it's almost like, minimal expectations, over delivery. And so I think that they're 100% going to make sales over to China. It's no way that they're not going to make sales over to China, because I think that China is also developing their own chips, but they're nowhere near as advanced as Nvidia.
So I fully expect and I hope for POs for H20. America being able to have the world build AI and build software on the American tech stack helps America win. And President Trump understands this. And I'm very grateful that he approved the licenses of NVIDIA H20s for Chinese customers that are not on the entities list. And so I'm hoping we're now free to be able to sell to them. When the orders come in, we have some H20s built for this coming quarter if the orders come in. And so whatever comes in as a bonus on top of our guidance. And our guidance, as you know, is already quite significant.
And when those chip orders do eventually come in, quite frankly, I'm surprised you say that you haven't gotten any orders yet. But when they do come in, what kind of numbers, what kind of revenue do you foresee for that?
The AI market in China is probably about $50 billion to us. Several quarters ago, we were running umpteen billion per quarter. And then when H20 was banned, it went to zero. And so my hope is that we'll be able to go back and address a significant part of that $50 billion. And it's growing, just like the United States is growing. And the rest of the world is growing in AI. So the China market is definitely growing really fast. And I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you've made it clear you're eager to sell not just the H20, but even the Blackwell, your most powerful chip, to China. Have you had that conversation yet with the Trump administration?
I've started to have the conversation with them. I think that the conversation will take a while, but President Trump understands that having the world build AI on American tech stack helps America win the AI race. And he wants American technology all over the world so that the whole world is built on the American standard, like the US dollar is, the global standard. And so I'm very optimistic about it. I don't know the time frame for it, and we'll continue the discussion with him.
Let's say he says okay, but demands the same as he's demanded for the H20, and that's a cut of those revenues. I mean, has this precedent been set and you'll be forced to say yes?
I don't know that it's forced to say yes, but ultimately, it's in the best interest of the world, of our country, for us to be able to sell in China, have China's AI.
B. Williams says, I heard the orders never stopped from China. I heard he's lying. I don't know what you heard, but I don't think that the orders ever stopped either. I think that there's always going to be a black market for chips, especially in the AI race, because as he said in the beginning, this is only the beginning. Everything is going to go towards AI. Everything is going to be powered by AI. Either it's going to be replacing people and it's going to be increasingly in every single thing that you do, and or it's going to be assisting. So even if you got a regular job, and I know that he's going to get to this in this particular conversation, Even if you got a regular job, it's going to be assisted by AI. I was talking to somebody over the weekend and they was doing some work and they said, man, I got ChatGPT and my job is pushing Copilot, because obviously y'all know that most jobs use a stack that's Microsoft based. So you got Outlook, you got Word, you got all of this stuff, and Copilot is a part of it. And so I was telling them, I said, yo, you do know that Copilot is basically based off of, and it's basically rebranded as Copilot, but it's really ChatGPT because Microsoft was one of the earliest investors in OpenAI. And so they put in a question, an extensive question, a prompt for both ChatGPT and for Copilot, and they got the exact same answer. And I was like, see, that's how you know it, right? That's how you know that it's basically the exact same thing. And Microsoft, that's why they made that significant investment for that. Yes, Copilot is literally ChatGPT rebranded because Microsoft is an early investor in OpenAI. And so they adopted it, and that's why they're partly winning the AI race. Okay. It's assisted with everything that you do. You're going to be required as a person that is in corporate or a professional environment, you're going to be required to know AI. I don't care how great your job is, how instrumental you are. I don't care if you're going to become a tradesman. It will be implemented in your business. You will have to know AI in addition to whatever your professional field is. And if the colleges were smart, they would be implementing this in order to market themselves more to people in their regular professional curriculums to make sure that students are prepared for the next generation or for the world now that the world is evolving. In everything you do, you will be prompted in AI. I was talking to your car over the weekend, texting back and forth. And he was showing me some of the examples of some of the stuff he had been doing. I will tell you that I write prompts all day, every day. I have structured now to where I can pull a prompt and modify it to be whatever it is that I want it to be based off of what I'm trying to generate, whether it be a new article or whether it be a presentation, whether it be an assistance and changing a picture that I want to look a certain way. I prompt all day long. Deacon, you will see, you're exactly right, Anton. Our firm has made us take mandatory AI courses throughout this year. You are going to be left behind if you do not know AI. Absolutely, 100%. It is integrated into your workspace to help you be more efficient. It is going to be integrated into every single thing that you do to help you be more efficient. And so if you are not in some shape, and I'm going to do, after Block Club, I'm going to do another AI live stream. I did an AI live stream about a month and a half ago or something like that. If you are not, and a lot of people, let me tell you how a lot of people are going to fall behind because they're not investing in themselves. They're waiting for something free. They're going to be just doing it as a hobby. They're going to look at AI as their therapist. They're not looking at it from a business perspective. They're looking at it from a perspective of how can they be entertained, right? Most people are not willing to have a subscription at anything. They don't invest. Nobody invests in themselves. People will try to justify why they shouldn't spend money on making sure that they learn something or whatever. And they're going to fall behind. Matter of fact, I'll tell you one thing. I think that most people are already behind. I think that most people have already fallen behind 100%. 100%. Absolutely.
Companies and AI researchers build AI on top of the American tech pricing, country with extraordinary skills and extraordinary capabilities. And manufacturing, as you know, is their home court advantage. And so we do not ever underestimate them. And so the sooner we get back in there and compete for a share of that marketplace, the better.
Listen, overall, you've got the kind of problem other companies are going to have, and that is demand far outweighing supply. Are you still there? I mean, we're hearing that for every one Blackwell chip, there are 10 different orders for them. Is that about right? And where are you in the supply balancing out with demand scenario? Well,
we did $46 billion, as you mentioned earlier today. And over the course of the next 5 years in this decade, I estimate probably about $3 to $4 trillion of AI factory infrastructure will be built out. Out of a gigawatt data center, for example, the gigawatt data center is like $50 billion all in. Out of that, about 30 to 35 billion of it is computing and networking and all the type of computing gear that Nvidia provides. And so Nvidia's opportunity within that $3 to $4 trillion within this decade is quite significant. So we're in the beginning of this build out, and so we have.
He's going to obviously surpass Elon Musk as the richest man on paper on Earth.
Many years of growth ahead of us.
And it looks like it. I get that. But OpenAI, Sam Altman, you've partnered with him in the past, and you're doing so, I believe, with Stargate. But he mused recently that there is a bubble, and that basically would suggest that spending on AI cannot continue at this torrid pace. Do you see a bubble? Are you with him on that?
I see a very different picture. In fact, OpenAI is doing incredibly well. They just had their first $1 billion month. This is a company that was in generating revenues not so long ago, just about.
AI companies are going to be the new Google, the new Apple, and the new Google. That's all it is to it. Really, at this point, it's really a matter of adoption. It's a matter of how many people can you get into your. And I told y'all this before. It's a matter of how many people you can get into your ecosystem. Because once you join one ecosystem, more than likely you never leave. And so what OpenAI, for example, which is ChatGPT, what they're basically doing is customizing to where everything that you do is personable, right? The more that you use it, the more it learns about you, and your account is going to be based off of the history that you have with it. So if it knows what your job history is based off of the different questions that you've asked it before, and you start to integrate it into your personal life, the answers that you get is going to be tailored towards you. It's not going to be a standard answer that it has for regular everyday people. It's going to be tailored towards you, the individual, right? The more that you prompt, the more that you ask it questions, the more that you participate with it, the more that it becomes integrated into your life. You start to name it. It knows exactly what your personal life is. Then you become a part of the ecosystem. You never leave it. And so then people are going to have to make a choice of whether or not they want to be in an OpenAI ecosystem, or they want to be in a Grok ecosystem, or they want to be in a Google's Gemini ecosystem. And so the fight is for the customer. See, Mackenzie just said it. Grok is my second brand. Mackenzie is not giving up Grok no more. Mackenzie is not giving up Grok. Oh, it definitely will. Well, it depends. It depends. It absolutely will. It will depends if he surpasses Elon. So Elon has a rocket company. Listen, bro, I don't really think you understand what the margins are. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry. We'll get there. We'll get there.
18 months ago. And so it's extraordinary growth. In fact, if you take all of the
bro, y'all not really paying attention
so
to
many
the opportunities. You're talking about the education space. You're talking about the manufacturing space. You're talking about the personable space. You're talking about everything that you can think of, making it easier to build buildings, automotive, being able to design much faster and quicker. People that were clay designers are going to absolutely be upended. Everything is going to change. Everything. Your ability to work is going to be, bro. Somebody did something. They showed me something this weekend. I'll say it like this, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up because I got to get over to this gathering, right? Somebody showed me something this weekend that I did in college, and it took me a day and a half to do. They did it in 3 minutes. I had to prove, for example, your car, for example, he was showing me something. And I remember when I was taking Photoshop in college, and, we would take old pictures. One of the classes, I would take an old picture, and then we had to color it and make it look more modern in order to bring it to life, right? Honestly, we had to color it and all that, but we had to show all of the layers in Photoshop in order to do it. Literally, you can upload an old photo and then color correct it in 2 or 3 minutes based off of certain prompts. telling you. I'm telling you. Will it be the demise of us? Probably. But in the meantime, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn it, because, you're going to be the person that fall behind as a result of it. Just telling you, bro. I don't even use Photoshop the same way no more, man.